The ratings are in for Wednesday's edition of AEW Dynamite on TBS. We've also got the rating for Tuesday's episode of WWE NXT on the CW. Roman Reigns reportedly is set for WWE Clash in Paris following a creative reshuffle. CM Punk is advertised for the entire United Kingdom tour. Casey Navarro is kicked out of first class last night on TNA Impact. Gia Miller sends a strong message to Tessa Blanchard. Several matches are confirmed for TNA Emergence. Several matches are confirmed for next week's edition of TNA Impact. And former Ring of Honor World Champion Jonathan Gresham reveals he suffered 2 strokes and is taking a break from professional wrestling. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's begin with the ratings for Wednesday's edition of AEW Dynamite on TBS. Now, following a successful 3-week residency in Chicago, Illinois, AEW hit the road once again for the August 6th episode of AEW Dynamite, which took place at the Wallstein Center in Cleveland, Ohio. The fans in attendance got to see Alex Windsor advance to the AEW TBS Championship 4-way match at Forbidden Door. Brody King and Bandito upset the Young Bucks to reach the AEW Tag Team Championship Eliminator Tournament Final, and MJF pick up a victory over Mark Briscoe, despite Briscoe getting his foot on the bottom rope during the decisive pinfall. AEW's successful 2025 has been well documented already, but this week's episode of Dynamite has gotten everyone talking, as WrestleNomics and the Programming Insider have confirmed that the show averaged a total of 711,000 viewers. This is not only a 16% increase on the July 30th episode's 612,000 viewers, but it's also 16% higher than the trailing 4-week average of 611,000 viewers, making it the second most watched episode of AEW Dynamite in 2025, with the top spot currently being occupied by the Grand Slam Mexico episode that aired on June 18th. Of course, as always, none of these numbers include those who streamed the show live on the simulcast on HBO Max. Now, in terms of the quarter-hour ratings, these come courtesy of WrestleNomics. Shout out to them and be sure to subscribe to their Patreon service. The show kicked off with a total of 766,000 viewers with the first quarter, which was not the only peak for the evening, but a total that would also be reached in the fourth quarter, which featured the end of the women's 4-way match, the Young Bucks backstage interview, and the in-ring segment with the Don Callis family. As the night went on, the viewership would gradually drop to 620,000 viewers by the end of the second hour, but the 12-minute overrun did see a slight boost in viewership as the show went off the air with 646,000 viewers. It wasn't just the viewership that saw a boost, as the 18 to 49 demographic rose significantly compared to recent weeks. The August 6th episode posted a 0.18 number, 20% higher than the 0.15 number that was not only posted the week before, but was also the trailing 4-week average in the demo. This meant that Dynamite topped the primetime cable rankings in their time slot, while also finishing second for the night when including shows that kicked off after Dynamite, with South Park on Comedy Central finishing first for the night with a 0.34. With that said, a 0.18 number was enough for Dynamite to finish 8th for the night when including network telecasts as well. Now, speaking of ratings, we've got the ratings for Tuesday's edition of WWE NXT. Tuesday night's WWE NXT episode averaged 740,000 viewers on the CW, an increase of 9.6% from last week. It's the second largest viewership total the show has done since March 25th. In the 18 to 49 demo, NXT drew a 0.16 rating, the same number the show did last Tuesday. This ties the best rating NXT has drawn in that category since April 22nd. It finished 6th on all of television in the key demo on Tuesday, where there was no major sports competition. As compared to the same week in 2024, when NXT was moved to Sci-Fi due to the USA Network's coverage of the Olympics, the show's overall viewership was up 38.6%, while the 18 to 49 rating was steady. Now, Roman Reigns reportedly is set for Clash in Paris following a creative reshuffle. After defeating Bron Breakker and Bronson Reed alongside Jey Uso at SummerSlam, Roman Reigns found himself on the opposite end of the spectrum on Raw when he was laid out by Reed after several tsunami splashes. The beatdown seemed to signal that Reigns wouldn't be around for a bit, reinforced by the fact that he is scheduled to start filming for the movie Street Fighter in the next month. It appeared, though, things have changed after reports emerged that Reigns was scheduled for more WWE events later in August. That was confirmed yesterday when a poster advertising Reigns for the upcoming Clash in Paris PLE became public. WrestleVotes reported that the poster was accurate and Reigns will be on hand for the August 31st event. However, there was conflicting information suggesting whether or not that actually was legitimate. However, we'll have to wait and see, of course, if that is going to be the case, if he is indeed going to be advertised for the show. CM Punk, he's going to be on the WWE UK tour during the last 2 weeks of August. WWE is set to travel overseas for an extended tour in the United Kingdom before heading to France for the aforementioned WWE Clash in Paris. In addition to WWE Raw and WWE SmackDown, the promotion has also lined up several live shows with major stars like Jey Uso, Charlotte Flair, and WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton scheduled to appear. However, on Thursday morning, WWE UK announced on social media that CM Punk will be featured at every single live event on the tour, making him one of the only wrestlers to make all 5 appearances over 6 days in the United Kingdom. The tweet that WWE UK put out said, quote, CM Punk will be at every WWE live event in the UK on the road to WWE Clash in Paris this month. Liverpool, August 23rd. Newcastle, August 24th. Manchester, August 26th. Leeds, August 27th. Cardiff, August 28th. Tickets available at www.com/events. Let's go to TNA Impact last night, and Casey Navarro has been kicked out of First Class. Navarro is going to be out of action for the foreseeable future. As part of TNA Wrestling's injury report segment on their weekly program, it was noted that Casey Navarro has ligament damage in his knee, and there was no timetable for his return. Navarro appeared shortly after for a first-class penthouse segment with AJ Francis. Sporting crutches and a knee brace on his left knee, Navarro revealed that he tore his ACL and will be undergoing surgery. Francis stated that the news is sad, but he has a next man up mentality, and went on to introduce the returning Rich Swann. Swann was an original member of First Class with Francis before his exit from TNA in 2024. Swann was arrested in the summer of 2024 and then voluntarily entered a rehab program. Francis said Navarro's services are no longer needed and he was always a backup plan. Navarro responded by grilling Francis about everything he's done for him and the proverbial bullets he's taken for him. He stated that he risked his career for First Class by competing in the ladder match at Slammiversary with an injured knee. AJ blamed all of First Class's shortcomings on Navarro. Francis and Swann swiped Navarro's crutches from underneath him, and AJ said he's happy Navarro tore his ACL. Now, a message was sent to Tessa Blanchard last night on TNA Impact. During the first hour of last night's TNA Impact, there was a backstage segment with interviewer Gabby Laspiza. She was joined by fellow correspondent, host, and interviewer Gia Miller. It was the first time Miller had appeared on TNA programming since being attacked by Tessa Blanchard at Slammiversary. She asked for the microphone and, after expressing that it felt good to be back, Miller looked directly into the camera and stated that if Blanchard lays her hands on her one more time, Miller will kill her. Miller then immediately transitioned into interviewer mode to set up a chat with Joe Hendry. After Blanchard's actions at Slammiversary, she was suspended by TNA Director of Authority, Santino Marella. Now, several matches have been confirmed for the upcoming TNA Emergence event. The next special on the docket for TNA Wrestling is Emergence on August 15th from Baltimore, Maryland. Towards the back end of last night's TNA Impact, Director of Authority Santino Marella appeared and made multiple additions to the special. First, he announced that Steve Macklin will be defending the TNA International Championship against Jake Something. Macklin and Something clashed over the title on last night's program, but the match ended via countout and they continued brawling after the bout. Their emergence bouts will be no countouts and no disqualifications. There is going to be a four-way match for the Knockouts World Tag Team Championships following a dust-up involving the parties in the match. The Elegance brand will be putting the bouts on the line against the following teams: Fatal Influence, The Inspiration, and the duo of Li Ying Li and Zaya Brookside. The Hardys, that being Matt and Jeff, are set to defend their TNA World Tag Team Championships against the Rascals Myron Reed and Zachary Wentz. In addition to that, Santino Marella brought the Nemeth brothers out to the stage to inform them they will not be challenging the Hardys for the bouts at Emergence because Nick is suspended after attacking TNA staff. Ryan is not suspended, so he'll be facing the hometown man at Emergence in a match. Now, several matches are also confirmed for TNA Impact next week on Access TV. The August 14th is the date for the next episode of TNA Impact. There have been several additions to the show. A 6-man tag team match will take place as X Division champion Leon Slater reunites with TNA World Tag Team champions the Hardys to take on their respective opponents at Emergence, Cedric Alexander and the Rascals. 2 singles matches are set for the program, and those are listed as follows, with Matt Cardona facing John Skyler and Mike Santana facing Eric Young. Frankie Kazarian will host an installment of his The King's Speech talk show featuring Jake Something and TNA International Champion Steve Macklin. Of course, as we just spoke about, Something and Macklin are set to meet at Emergence for the title in a no disqualification, no countout stipulation match. Capping off the announcements for the August 14th TNA Impact is The Inspiration versus Myla Grace and Harley Hudson. And finally, some news when it comes to former Ring of Honor World Champion Jonathan Gresham. Jonathan Gresham revealed on social media that he suffered 2 strokes a couple of days ago. He said he'll be taking the next 2 to 4 weeks off from wrestling to recover and get cleared fully by his neurologist. This is what Gresham posted on social media. He said, quote, 2 days ago, I woke up and couldn't walk or move the left side of my body. I couldn't see and could barely talk. It took me 30 minutes to dial 911, but I finally did. I woke up in the hospital, couldn't remember what had happened. They told me they had done an MRI and I had 2 strokes. I've had a lot of tests run, but everything has come back clean. They're not sure what happened, and the only thing they said was it could have been a possible complication from a bad case of COVID I had a couple of weeks ago. They said we may never know the exact reason. Needless to say, I'll be taking the next 2 to 4 weeks off from wrestling to recover and get cleared fully by my neurologist. My wife saw me get carted off from the house on our Ring doorbell camera and somehow flew from Orlando to Atlanta in time that she was there when I woke up. I wasn't fully convinced I had a stroke until she showed me this photo of how my face looked. I never thought this would be something for me to worry about at 37 years old. I will be back soon. Of course, we wish him the best as he recovers. Gresham last competed at the Bloodsport 14 event on August 2nd against Pete Dunne. But there you go, guys. Latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. And I'll speak to you again very soon in a brand new wrestling news update.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.